Hey everybody, this is Erica Sabo. Welcome to another episode of MindBit. Hey everybody, so MindBit is back. You've probably been wondering, a lot of you were like, where is it? Why won't it come back? But last month just did not cater to it at all, considering I was doing my giveaways and I was doing my weekly vlogs, and frankly, those just are not MindBit. So it was a nice little breather though from it. However, I'm very, very happy to be back. Now, my biggest problem with doing this episode was trying to figure out exactly what I was going to talk about. There's been a lot of things, I've mentioned before. I'm so secretive. I don't tell you guys things, but I tell you there's a lot going on. And sometimes I tell you more and sometimes I don't. However, this is an instance where I don't actually think I can. This is something where I'm just trying to deal with everything as best I can, but it's as good as it is stressful? I don't know how to put it. So there's been a lot on my mind, and my mind hasn't always been on videos, which is kind of a scary thought for me, considering I've been kind of on a roll, and things have been going really well here. And I don't want to let any of you down, but there's just certain things in my life that have been slowing me down mindset-wise. However, that does not stop me from continuing on with this little dream here. So I figured, you know what, I'm going to talk about something that I have been spending a lot of time with this week in particular, and that is E3 2014. Now, if you've been checking on my Twitter or on my Facebook, I have been talking a lot about E3, and I've been offering a lot of coverage for a blog that I occasionally write for called Eggplant. I used to write for them more regularly, but it's become more seldom since I put more focus into my YouTube channel. So, I talked to my friend and editor Chris about doing coverage, and it was one of those things where I knew I had to do this. I had to do this because he's a friend and I want to help him, and I would feel crazy if I didn't cover E3 for a year. I covered E3 for several years in the past, and I used to cover it for the Future Shop Tech blog. So I had a way of covering it very professionally, and it would be really weird if I didn't cover it, right? So there was a lot that went on this year, and I did a lot of live tweeting, and I got to be a lot more relaxed about it and also professional and just have fun and shoot the shit and just have a good time while still getting my point across and my opinions across about everything. So today I wanted to offer a bit of my impressions of this year's E3, maybe talk a little bit about each game, nothing in too much detail, but just enough to give you an idea on what my thoughts are and all these emotions that are going through my my heart right now. But yeah, there were some really great surprises. There's some a few disappointments, as I'm sure anybody might expect, but otherwise I would say it was a pretty good year. So I guess let's start off with what started it all for many of us, and that was the Microsoft press conference. This there were a lot of things that caught my eye. There were also a lot of things that didn't really catch my eye. And maybe that's not so much of a surprise, but I do have a lot of punches I have not pulled yet. So in terms of one of my favorites by far at the Microsoft press conference, that had to be Sunset Overdrive. This is Insomniac Games' new action sandbox outrageousness. It's just ridiculous. Now, I am not so big a fan of sandbox games, a lot of times because I tend to go off tangent with them and I lose focus of the game itself. There are a few exceptions, however, such as the Fallout series, which I love for its black humor. It's just very witty, very, very cleverly done. And then games like Crackdown, just because of how outrageous it is, which is another game that I would like to say I want to give huge kudos to for making its return at this year's conference, and very excited to see that. But what I like so much about Sunset Overdrive is how self-realized it is, and I think having a self-realized nature in your sandbox titles makes it that much more fun and that much more enjoyable, because it's out to have fun. It wants you to enjoy it as a game. It knows it's a game. It knows what it can provide you. Now, I mean, at the same time, some people could say, well, this could end up being really good or it could end up being really bad. But I want to have faith in it. I really want to have faith in this game. There's just something so nice about the juxtaposition of like Tony Hawk Pro Skater, Crazy Taxi, Dead Rising, all of these culminating into one crazy ass game that I'm really excited for. I am so excited for. Just, it's a game that I had heard about prior, but I didn't spend too much time thinking about because I didn't think I was gonna like it, and then I make judgments too quickly sometimes. I really do. Because the moment I saw it, I was just like, bam, you know, like my face lit up. My face totally lit up, and I knew I needed it in my life. So we'll see. Who knows? We'll see. But I'm really looking forward to that co-op, that's for sure. Aside from that, at the Microsoft press conference, like I said, Crackdown, I don't really have much else to say about Crackdown, because Crackdown's Crackdown. It's outrageous. It's not self-realized, but it's outrageous. And I like the cel-shaded look to it, but I don't really have anything else to say. So let's hope it'll be fun. Let's hope it'll be like all the others. Like, I don't really, well, the two others. I don't really have any high expectations for it. I'm just here to have fun with it, right? So there's that. There's that. And then, what else is there that I really wanted to talk about? There were a lot of indie games, which I'm really happy about. I'm happy that Microsoft finally realized this year that, you know what, we need to put more focus on independent developers, like the PlayStation 4 did last year during their console launch. I'm really happy about this because there were some really amazing games that were featured, even if they were featured for very, very short periods of time. Whether we have games that are like Mighty No. 9, which is kind of an homage to Mega Man by the creators, or we have games like Cuphead, which is just outrageous. We only saw a few seconds of this game, but it is just like the coolest looking 1930s-esque cartoon brawler that I am so looking forward to. I am so excited. I got so excited about some of these indie games, I had to write about them. A lot of the games that I wrote about on Eggplant were games that I'm very passionate about and games that I'm really interested in hearing more about. And Cuphead is one that I think has fell under the radar for a lot of people, and one that needs to be experienced more and more and more. It's just crazy, crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. I can also say the same thing about Hyper Light Drifter as well, which is another really great game by Heart Machine that I've been looking forward to for a very long time. Very Zelda-esque type game that is just absolutely gorgeous. So gorgeous. And I can't wait to play this damn game. Oh my god. This is how I felt when I first saw Fez. When I saw Fez from Polytron, I was just like, I need this in my life. I need it. And that high got me going, and I ended up beating it within a few days. Same with Journey as well. That was another great one that I knew I was gonna love, and I did. I totally did. Another one is Capybara Games, based here in Toronto. Really awesome developer. Their game Below, which makes you feel so small compared to this ginormous world. It's kind of jarring in that way. You actually are like a little speck in comparison to the world around you, to an even greater scale than a game like Sword and Sorcery, which they had done as well, which I really enjoy a lot too, a game that really resonated with me. I think Capybara is a very respectable company here in the city, and I'm really happy we have a company like that here in the city, and man, they know what they're doing. They know their stuff. They really do. And then probably another one of my favorites, one that was so reminiscent of another game I really love, was Inside. It's by Playdead Games. Playdead Games is known for their work on another really amazing, very similar game called Limbo. A lot about isolation, a lot about coming of age, a lot about loss of innocence, and you played as a little boy who looked a lot like the little boy in A Boy and His Blob reboot. So much like him. It was kind of crazy. It was like the darker side of A Boy and His Blob without the blob and just the boy, and horrible things are happening all around you. And it seems like that's exactly what's going to happen with Inside as well, actually. Because you play as a little boy, and you play in like a very hyper-stylized world that's very jarring and very creepy, unsettling, very unsettling. So I'm hoping for another puzzle platformer there with that, and yeah, we'll just see how it goes. But those are some of the games in particular that really resonated with me for the Microsoft press conference, and games that I wholeheartedly hope you check out for yourself. Now, in terms of EA's press conference, there wasn't nearly as much that resonated with me there. I'm not really... things have changed. Things have really changed for me. Like, I would love to say that I am excited for things like Battlefield. What was it, Hardline? But I am not that excited for it. If anything, I was waiting for Bad Company 3. I had a really amazing experience with Bad Company 3, and that game in particular taught me how much I can really enjoy working cooperatively with people. I can say the same thing about Gears of War 3 as well in Horde mode. I'm not really a multiplayer type person. I play games by myself. love playing single player games, whatever genre they may be, but those two games taught me a lot. Bad Company 2 taught me how to be a medic, taught me how to defib people to life and to death. And it was amazing. It was great working in a team like that. But there's something about Battlefield that I'm just not too keen on nowadays, and I'm just waiting for that moment when Bad Company 3 comes out. So we'll see. They've changed a lot, so we'll see. We'll see. But one game that I was actually very, very excited about was Mirror's Edge 2. I freaking love this game. It's not for everybody. Not everybody likes it. I know a lot of people actually really hated Mirror's Edge. They didn't like the first person perspective. They thought it felt kind of clunky, that it wasn't as immersive as it was maybe trying to be, and maybe EA was having their reservations about it as well when it was released, because it kind of fell on the back burner after it didn't receive the sales that they thought it was going to get. They had really high expectations for it, and it didn't really meet those expectations, and I think that's why it took so long for a sequel to be released. But this sequel is above and beyond. This sequel looks like it's going to be even better for a game that already had a lot of potential. So if you're not familiar with Mirror's Edge, it's this really great first-person, kind of on rails, kind of. You're kind of following a linear path, but you still have choice. A very parkour-oriented game. But you do have your options in how you can go about each level, and how you can go about getting through each level and being a pacifist or not. And being a pacifist is more fun. Let's just say that being a pacifist is way more fun, and knowing parkour and experiencing parkour right there in front of you is exhilarating. Parkour is something I've been wanting to do for so long, but I do dance right now, and dance is expensive. Every month it is very expensive, but it's something I really enjoy. So maybe in time I will learn parkour. Maybe I'll learn how to, you know, do a wall climb or tumble, or I don't know, who knows, right? But this game makes me feel like I can. This game makes me feel like I can do anything. And I think that while we didn't get too much of Mirror's Edge 2, we got more of like a behind the scenes idea of it. It's something that I'm very, very, very excited for. Something I'm so looking forward to, and I can't wait to see more of. So unfortunately, when it came to Ubisoft, I slept through it. Yay, I slept through it. I'm amazing like that. Because I was just so excited for Sony's that I got really tired because I woke up really early in the morning, and I've been fighting insomnia for how long now? Which is finally going away, mind you. But I fell asleep through it, and I just missed all of it. But I will say that I'm sure that The Division, Tom Clancy's The Division, was probably mentioned. I still haven't watched it. I'm a horrible person. But if it was, like it was in the Microsoft press conference, I will say I'm very, very much looking forward to this. And this is another game that I am really hoping to experience more co-op with, actually. This is a game that I am very much looking forward to experiencing. I'm looking forward to experiencing this dystopian world. I'm looking forward to seeing how I can work together with a team in a third-person perspective, and just seeing what I'm totally capable of, and feeling like I'm in the middle of it all. Very exhilarating. Very, very exhilarating. And yeah, I mean, The Division really resonated with me in that way. There's something about it. There's something about certain Western games that really gets me, and I'm much more of, like, I don't know, a Japanese published gamer. Like, I much prefer Japanese published games, but there's something about some of these games that just, they get me, and I'm curious. I am so curious to see more, so we'll see how the cooperative play goes. I'm sure The Division's gonna be a great game though. And I think that's it in terms of me for Ubi. I'm not too interested in a lot of the other projects in their lineup, so I guess let's move on to little old Sony. So, Sony. You pulled my heartstrings, and I'm very happy I didn't buy a PS4, because the announcement of a white PS4, I freaked. I totally freaked, guys. This was, like, embarrassing. I screamed in the apartment. And I know Brad was like, what's wrong? And I'm like, yes. Like, I have this thing for just white Sony systems. I have a white PSP and a white Vita, and I just think they look so sleek and so nice. And they're things that you like in terms of the actual like the PlayStation 3, you could only get in Japan, and they're so expensive. But to hear that we're going to be getting a white PS4 here, that's just amazing. So I'm really happy. I ended up canceling my pre-order for a PS4 even though I really wanted one so badly. I'm so happy I waited though. It was probably one of the best decisions I could have made now that I know I can have a white one. So there's that. That was very exciting. And another thing that pulled my heartstrings was definitely Destiny. Not very much of it was shown, however that's another cooperative game that I am very much looking forward to because I respect Bungie so much. You know, this is kind of weird. I'm like going out of my territory, just, you know, maybe throwing y'all for a loop here, but if you spend enough time with me, you start realizing that like there's just certain, like there's like little things that I like about certain companies, whether they're, you know, based in Japan or they're based in North America or wherever, and it's just like there's certain things that resonate with me. And one thing I really like about Bungie is their passion and tenacity. I think that they had an amazing idea with the Halo series, and I really enjoy the Halo series. However, I do feel like their creative control was taken away through Microsoft when they became publisher. That doesn't mean it wasn't amazing. You know, it was really amazing series and has really wonderful mythos. I'm still under the impression that ODST is the Halo game above and beyond all because it was the most human in approach. That's something I learned just by spending enough time with Halo lovers, and that's something that I'm really happy to have learned, and something I'm very happy to appreciate is how much more human that experience can truly be and how vulnerable you can truly be. So I don't know about Destiny, but I will tell you that I think Destiny is going to be that passion project. I think Destiny is going to be that project that Bungie wanted that control for. They wanted that creative control, and they're able to have it. It's so exciting to be able to know that they're able to work on such an expansive game with such intricate mythos and such fun looking gameplay. You know, some might say that the gameplay looks really generic considering, but I don't know, man. I am very much looking forward to it. I am so looking forward to it. So yeah, I mean, there's that. That was probably one of the biggest things. I will say that one of my biggest disappointments in terms of Sony was the lack of mention of The Last Guardian, Team Ico's game that's been on the back burner for what, like 4 years now. I'm a big fan of Team Ico, and I'm sure in the future I'm probably going to be doing a retrospect on their two games, Ico and Shadow of the Colossus, because they are some of my favorite games ever. They are games that I resonate with so much and I truly love. And I just want to see them succeed, and I want to see them do more, and I don't want to keep seeing them in a standstill in the way they are, right? So that was probably one of my biggest disappointments, is that we didn't get to see anything like that. Something that I really wanted to. But that doesn't mean that there aren't good things that happen too. You know, even with the bad, there comes good. And another really great developer that I'm sure I'll be doing a retrospect of too, that I admire with all of my heart, is Suda51. And his new project, Let It Die. So we don't really know too much about Let It Die, aside from the fact that it's going to be a PS4 exclusive. It's going to be coming out in 2015, and it's free to play now, it seems too. Although there's no mention right now of how they're going to incorporate monetization, which they will, I'm sure. But it's a big departure from Grasshopper's other projects, and I believe that Suda had stated that he's going to be executive producer for this, but he is going to have a lot of control over it as well. Now, when he says that this is going to be a big departure, I'm not really sure what they mean by that. Like, what kind of departure are we talking about? You know, I mean, like, it doesn't look like it's gonna be nearly as quirky. It looks like a very, like, survival-oriented, very fast-paced, no combos game, just annihilating people. But it has to do with the Grim Reaper in some shape or form, which makes sense, you know, but considering you look at like the title screen and you have like the Grim Reaper riding what, like a tricycle or something. So it has its quirkiness to it, but I've yet to see that true quirkiness that is Suda. What I love about Suda so much is what an auteur he is. How he just does not care about what other people think about his projects. And he does what he finds to be best for his own projects. And yeah, you know, there has been a lot of change in some of the things he's done. You can see that he has gone a little bit more mainstream in some of the things he's done. However, that has never stopped him from doing what he loves, and he's never really had to compromise very much of what he believes in, if anything at all. Yeah. Man, this is exciting. This is so exciting. I'm like so excited right now. I don't know what else to say. This is just, I'm really curious to see what he's gonna do. And now I know for sure I definitely need to do a retrospect of him because I love him so much. And man, he just makes me so happy inside. Man, this is brutal. This is brutal. Okay, so I think that's it actually in terms of Sony that I can think of off the top of my head. There's a lot of stuff, but those definitely stood out to me. So apparently I'm still not done with the Sony press conference. I keep missing stuff. Like, I actually put away my camera and then I started doing some more research, and then I was like, oh no, I missed like a bunch of other things too. So one other game that I wanted to mention that I was super stoked for that just kind of came out from nowhere was Final Fantasy Type 0. Now this is like one of the few Final Fantasies as of recently that just was not released in North America, and there was a big petition regarding it to a point where there was a amazing team of people who did a fan translation of the game. Now that fan translation came out only a few days ago, and well, you know, Square Enix has amazing timing, and they decided, oh, you know what, okay, we're gonna release it here now. So it's gonna be coming out on the PS4, apparently on the Xbox One too. I've only heard the PS4 personally. It was originally said to be on the Vita, but that I think is really amazing news considering the fact that a lot of people consider Final Fantasy Type 0 to be the true Final Fantasy 13. Would I agree? I don't know because I haven't played it, but I know a lot of people seem to feel that way too, and it's something that I'm very excited to play to a point where I have been in contact with the team who have been doing the fan translation, and I actually ordered my import copy of Final Fantasy Type 0, and I have my fan translation patch. So I actually got it expedited so I could be receiving it today at any point, who knows, and I'm very excited. I honestly, I cannot wait. I absolutely can't wait. I also want to say that From Software's Project Beast, which is now Bloodborne, looks just as amazing. If you are familiar with From Software, obviously they did the amazing Demon Souls and Dark Souls, so I have very high hopes for this. I've yet to play Dark Souls 2 actually at this point, but I gotta get on that. That's gonna be a big endeavor, but it's gonna happen, and I'm sure Bloodborne is gonna be another one that's gonna be just as amazing, just as in-depth, just as complex, just as challenging. I hope. Oh man. But you know what, for a developer like this to be able to take those kinds of risks, I wouldn't be surprised if they did it again. So yeah, yet another game that I wholeheartedly look forward to. Now, as for Nintendo, after a string of very lukewarm years, I find this to be Nintendo's strongest year yet. I am super excited, and I know some of you are like, well, there's various problems with Nintendo in that one, they're not willing to focus on new IPs, or there are people who are like, no, stick with the old IPs, stick with what you know. You could say a little bit of both, to be honest. I mean, for one, I'll give them credit in that they actually have had a lot of really good, interesting IPs. I think that they're great, and I think that they've been doing a great job, but they also know what they are, and they know what they've become, and they know what they're good at. So I respect the fact that they keep going back to their old IPs. I think it's amazing, to be honest, and they've done it right, you know, they know what they're doing. And sometimes they choose the more accessible route, and they make their games a bit easier to be more kid-friendly. But sometimes they don't too, so I mean, you know, there's a lot involved in this. I think some of the things that I was most excited about were, I'm really excited about Yoshi's Woolly World, which is very much a mixture between Yoshi's Story on the N64 and Kirby's Epic Yarn. You could say that's very unoriginal, come on, come up with new ideas. However, I've wanted a new Yoshi story for like years now. I don't even know how many years it's been, I think since like 98 or so. So yeah, I played the hell out of that game, and I got black and white Yoshi there too. So I mean, there's a lot to be excited for with this, especially if you are a Yoshi fan. I am, so I'm excited. Let's see, what else? Xenoblade Chronicles X. That was one of the most exciting things for me. I didn't necessarily want them to go back to Xenogears. I didn't want them to do a reboot, but I wanted them to do something in that realm, right? Because Xenogears was it was a project that didn't tap its full potential because it just didn't have the money to. Unfortunately, it was supposed to be what Final Fantasy VII later became. You know, and they have they're very similar in that respect because they are both very mature-minded JRPGs for their time, but I think that Xenogears was just a little bit too philosophical, perhaps. I don't know. You know, so it didn't end up getting the credit it deserved. It kind of ran out of finances by the end, and it was disappointing, and I still loved it, you know. I think a lot of people still did, and they did the best they could for the time, right? But what's so great about Monolith is that they're so willing to keep going with this mythos. I mean, they tried so hard with Xenosaga, and it kind of fell flat. It like got cut in half. I feel so bad for the developers because they want something so badly, but they're just not getting the finances for it. But then there came a game called Xenoblade Chronicles that was finally greenlit here in North America after a huge petition. And I think that Nintendo finally realized that, yeah, you know what? We gotta actually take this seriously considering how many people wanted it and what a cult favorite it became. And it's a weird merger. What I like about Xenoblade Chronicles is it's a merger between East and West. It's this amazing bridge between the two where it still feels like a JRPG, but it has a world reminiscent of a Western RPG. I love it. I love that feeling. I love how it is very much an action RPG, yet it still feels like a JRPG, and it knows its thing, and it knows what it is, and it knows what it's not, and it's vast, and it's beautiful. It's something so entirely different than most other JRPGs I've spent time with. It's very well done. And to see Xenoblade Chronicles X in full force like that, to see that world, to be able to watch later on the Twitch gameplay for it, I was enamored, totally enamored by it, and I knew how badly I wanted to be part of this world, as vast as it might be, as overwhelming as it might end up being. I really don't care. I really don't care, because if I liked Xenoblade Chronicles as much as I did, I'm sure I'm going to like Xenoblade Chronicles X just as much or more. I just know it. I know it. And now we have amazing mechs to go along with it too. So beautiful, beautiful mechs. Well, gears, or hopefully they'll be called gears. We'll see. Let's see, what else? The new Legend of Zelda is another game I'm actually really looking forward to seeing more of. We only got a very slight glimpse of it, although I know that there are some people who are talking about how Link looked very reminiscent of Zelda, perhaps. Perhaps Zelda is Link in this game. Who knows? Or maybe Link is just looking more and more like a hot, pretty boy. Maybe. He's attractive regardless, and that bow he was wielding was just flat out amazing, you know, so who knows? We can speculate all we want, but we won't know until we get the facts, right? So just enjoy it for what it is for now, and we will see. But I don't want to speculate too much with that. We'll see. Now, in terms of, I guess maybe let's talk about one more good thing, and then I'll go into more disappointing things. Okay, so one more good thing I did want to talk about, I want to talk about Star Fox, but I kind of want to talk about Super Smash Bros. More, because very excited for this, and I'm very excited that it's going to be integrated on both the Wii U and the 3DS. I think that's very cool, and I think it's a really great idea that they decided to go cel-shaded for the 3DS, considering it'll just look better that way. It'll just look way better considering the graphical capabilities of the 3DS in comparison. I really can't say much more about Super Smash Bros. Because it's just going to have a lot of variety, it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're just going to have a great time together, just as much as we're probably having a really amazing time playing Mario Kart 8 right now, right? So, which I still need to pick up, mind you. But yeah, so now back to disappointments, I suppose, is the big tease about the Majora's Mask reboot on the 3DS. we keep seeing these bundles. We see like 3DS bundles with the Majora's Mask symbol, this beautiful purple XL, and it's just amazing. And it's just like a feast for the eyes, and we're not getting it. But you know, if Ocarina of Time was rebooted, there's absolutely no reason why Majora's Mask can't be. Absolutely no reason. And I have total faith that we are going to see this. We are going to see this. It's going to be a matter of time. It might take a little while, but I think we are going to see it. Now, I'm sure that there's probably some things I'm missing here, just thinking about it right now, but I think another game, actually, I wanted to say for the 3DS that I'm really looking forward to is Persona Q. I had to wait there for a second because there's a lot of Personas that are coming out, like Dancing All Night, or Persona Arena Ultimax, or Persona 5, which is another game we didn't hear about, which I did not mention because I'm all over the place. But yeah, no, Persona Q looks great, even though it is going to be a first-person dungeon crawler. It will integrate Persona 3 and Persona 4 characters, which I'm super stoked for, and I'm very happy for. And I can't wait to play it. And looking at that premium edition of the game, I gotta have it. I gotta have it. I don't know how this is gonna happen, but I gotta have it. So yeah, I think that's it for me in terms of Nintendo. Now, another game I wanted to mention on the 3DS that I almost forgot there for a second was Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright, or the other way around, or something like that. But I am super excited for this game as well. It's funny how I keep putting down my camera and then I realize, oh crap, I forgot something. I gotta put it back up and I gotta tell you guys this, because these are two of some of my favorites. I am a big fan of the Ace Attorney series, and I'm a big fan of the why do I keep wanting to say Phoenix Wright? The Professor Layton series. It's they're both really near and dear to me, and it's really nice to be able to see this mashup. Now, in terms of mashups, another thing that I want to mention that we did not hear from, unfortunately, was Shin Megami Tensei X Fire Emblem. I'm waiting for this. I am waiting for this, and we heard a Nintendo Direct about it back in January, I believe it was, and we didn't get any news, which really sucks. And I'm wondering if they're going to release news at maybe Tokyo Game Show or maybe in a couple weeks. I don't know. But Mega 10 is a series that I absolutely adore. You know, in my top JRPGs on the PlayStation 2, I mentioned a lot of them because I enjoy them all so much, whether we're talking the Digital Devil Saga series, or we're talking about Nocturne, or we're talking about Persona, we're just talking about, you know, whatever. I don't know, Devil Survivor series too, Devil Summoner series. There's like, it's ever flowing, it's non-stop, and I love every single minute of it. And I love Fire Emblem, and I love Fire Emblem Awakening. My first Fire Emblem was actually the first Fire Emblem on the Game Boy Advance, and then I played Sacred Stones, and I was in love. I was totally in love. And I knew what I wanted. I knew what I wanted for my strategy RPGs since my days playing Final Fantasy Tactics. So yeah, you know, it's a bummer that we didn't hear about it. A bit of a disappointment, along with, you know, Majora's Mask. But I'm confident that we're going to hear about it very soon. So I think that's it. In terms of my feelings about this year's E3, there were definitely a lot of surprises. There were a lot of things that I am super stoked for. I'm sure I probably missed some stuff, and you guys are gonna like tackle me about it. You're gonna be like, what the heck? How could you miss fill in the blank? But I tried to tackle as much as I could that I really care about, because there are certain things I just don't really care about very much. But yeah, no, this was a good year, and this is a year that I really wish I could have gone to E3. Although maybe it's better that I didn't, because I feel like I would be just the most stressed out person ever if I was there. I kind of like all these years, what has it been, like 4 years now I've been covering E3. I've been doing it from home. I just stream everything and then I just take it all in. Whereas if I was there, I'd be in a giant room full of a bunch of people typing away while I'm at this conference and not just like enjoying it. And not shooting the shit and just live tweeting silly things, you know what I mean? So, like Reggie boring into my soul, you know what I mean? Or stealing my soul. Or like that weird Matrix battle that the two of them had for Super Smash Bros. Like, what the heck? What the heck is with that? You know, like, I feel like a lot of people are very serious when they go to E3 and they're just like, I'm here to work, you know, like it's journalist central, but I'm kind of happy with where I am. So maybe it's a good thing I didn't go this year, considering what a good year it was. who knows? You know, maybe I'm just giving myself false hope right now. I don't know. I have no idea. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed my impressions. I really hope this gave you maybe some other insights in terms of games you should check out, or if you haven't checked out this year's E3 yet, maybe it gave you an idea of what to look out for if you are going to be streaming it soon, or if you're going to be streaming it today or tomorrow or whenever. Right. Now what I want you to do for me down below is tell me, what games are you most excited for? And let's all be kind to each other. Let's all, you know, get along and understand we have our differences. Because I find you guys so amusing in that way. I know some of you can be super passionate about what you believe in, but I want us all to be kind to each other and to feel free to enjoy whatever you want. Because you know what? You can like whatever you want to like. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So yeah, please let me know what you're most excited for in the comments below. And yeah, let's have some discussion going, okay? Alright, so please stay tuned for another Mind Bit very soon. It is going to be coming. This is not it. This is not the last one ever. But I will be having a really cool weekly vlog coming up this Sunday that I really hope you get to check out. So I really hope you guys have a great day. I hope you have a great E3. And I'll see you later. Okay, peace.